Part 144. After the flash marriage, the character collapsed. Author, Dalby in the World. Chapter 1431. Chapter 1431, Didn't Recognize My Son. Okay, I'll take you to find your mother now. Jian Yuman comforted Xiao Wangwang and couldn't help but glance at Tang Xingai again. Seeing that his expression was impatient and cold and emotionless from beginning to end, I felt sad for a while. I didn't even notice my biological son in front of me, and even made him cry. He didn't react at all when he heard that the child wanted his mother. He deserved to be single until now. Mr. Tang, I went out to help little Wang Wang find her mother. Mom. Tang Yu's eyes fell on Xiao Wangguang's face, then on Jian Yuman's face, and then on his younger brother, becoming thoughtful. What's wrong? Sensing the strange look in his elder brother's eyes, Tang Xingai felt a strange feeling in his heart. Nothing, Tang Yu said indifferently, and then looked at Jian Yuman. I'll take you there. Jian Yuman, who was holding Xiao Wangwang in her arms, took a step back in fright. However, she still maintained a calm expression on her face, but her head shook rapidly. No, I'll just go by myself. Didn't Xingai ask you to work? Don't waste everyone's time, go to work quickly. Jian Yuman smiled and ran out with Xiao Wangwang in her arms. In Tang Xingai's eyes, there was nothing strange about Jian Yuman's behavior, but in Tang Yu's eyes, there were too many flaws. There was a trace of suspicion in my heart, but it was also amplified. This woman really has something up her sleeve and is hiding something from him. As for the fact that Xiao Wangwang is Tang Xingai's son, Jian Yuman did not tell him because she promised Yang Yanliu. Yesterday, Xiao Wangwang came to stay at home. Jian Yuman only said that it was a friend's child and she was busy taking care of her for a day. She did not tell Tang Yu that the mother of the child was Yang Yanliu. Jian Yuman's strange behavior and strange eyes early in the morning made the smart Tang Yu discover that something was wrong, and his smart brain quickly made connections. After discovering that Tang Xingai and Xiao Wangwang looked somewhat similar, if you look closely you can still see Yang Yanliu's facial features. Combined with Jian Yuman's strange behavior, he had already guessed that Xiao Wangwang was his younger brother's child, and that Xiao Wangwang was also his nephew. Brother, quickly change your clothes and go to work. Tang Xingai, who came to supervise Tang Yu, did not forget the purpose of coming here today. Tang Yu raised the corners of his mouth meaningfully. Are you sure you want to supervise me to go to the meeting now instead of following Jianer out? Why do you want to follow sister-in-law? Tang Xingai glanced at his elder brother who was smiling strangely inexplicably. It's nothing. Tang Yu did not criticize his brother directly, but smiled and turned around to change clothes. Little Mickey, standing next to Tang Xingai, looked at his father and third uncle and sighed meaningfully. Third uncle, do you want to take me with you when you go out? I am your eldest brother's only son, you can't ignore me. Jian Yuman went to find Yang Yanliu, and did not take little Mickey away, so she could only follow the man pitifully. Company. Jian Yuman held Xiao Wangwang outside and looked around to make sure that Yang Yanliu was not nearby, so she took out her mobile phone and called her. Before the call was connected, a car stopped in front of me and its window was rolled down. Little funny boy, come up here. The person sitting in the car parked in front of Jian Yuman was actually Kenny, smiling and waving to Jian Yuman. Appa? Why are you here? Jian Yuman called out in surprise when she saw Kenny. End of this chapter. After the flash marriage, the character collapsed. Author, Dalby in the World. Chapter 1432. Chapter 1432 discovered by Mr. Tang 1. Appa? Why are you here? Jian Yuman called out in surprise when she saw Kenny. Jian Yuman did not get in the car immediately, but looked back at the villa, wondering if Mr. Tang was peeking at the door, and whether he would be jealous if he saw Kenny coming to her. Ms. Yang is in the car. Kenny pointed to the back seat and smiled lightly. Lulu is in your car, Qian Yuman raised her eyebrows in surprise. She didn't know they knew each other. Teacher Qian, get in the car quickly, I'm afraid Xingai will come out later. Seeing that Qian Yuman showed no signs of getting in the car, Yang Yanliu in the back seat called anxiously, asking Qian Yuman to get in the car quickly. Its mom, Xiao Wang, who was holding Qian Yuman's neck, heard Yang Yanliu's voice and immediately recognized it, twisting his little body excitedly. It's really Lulu. Qian Yuman was surprised, but she didn't hesitate and quickly opened the door and got in the car. Qian Yuman sat in the car, and Kenny drove away. When he got into the car, he saw Yang Yanliu twisting his body and looking towards the back of the car to make sure that Tang Xingai had not chased him out. Only then did he relax his tense nerves and let out a long sigh of relief. Don't worry. Xingai is supervising Mr. Tang to get up, so we don't have time to chase him out. Qian Yuman smiled and stuffed Xiao Wang into Yang Yanliu's arms. Finally seeing his son, Yang Yanliu was in a false alarm. He hugged his son happily and rubbed his head with his cheek. Her little sweetheart. Appa, do you know Lulu? Qian Yuman asked while lying on the back seat looking at Kenny. Do not know. Why did Lulu get into your car? Qian Yuman turned her attention to Yang Yanliu again. Yang Yanliu hugged his son and explained with a gentle smile. Mr. Bryce and I don't know each other. I just heard that Xingai was on your side, so I rushed out quickly. I met Mr. Bryce on the way. The last time he saw us together in the mall, so he recognized who I was and invited me to get in the car when he saw such a panic. Like this, Qian Yuman nodded and got the answer. Appa, did you come to see me today? Yeah, I wanted to have a son, so I brought a lot of gifts to see him. Kenny pointed to the toy model stacked up on the passenger seat. Oops, little Mickey is still with his father. Qian Yuman patted her head and completely forgot about her son. Mr. Tang will have to go to a meeting later, and he will definitely not have time to spend time with little Mickey. Do you want me to go back and pick up little Mickey? No need. Qian Yuman shook her head quickly and looked at Yang Yanliu. Xingai is at my house now. If I go back to pick up little Mickey, Lulu may bump into Xingai at any time. Then the problem will be troublesome. Yang Yanliu nodded wildly on the side. But I can call Mr. Tang and ask him to leave little Mickey to Tianyu. If that doesn't work, just go to his office and we'll pick him up later to play with him. All right. It ended happily like this. Kenny drove Yang Yanliu to her father's place first. Teacher Qian, Xingai saw Xiao Wang just now. Did he find anything? Did he guess that Xiao Wang is his son? Yang Yanliu has been worried about this matter. When he thinks that their father and son have met, they may meet at any time. When Tang Xingai discovered that Xiao Wang was his son, she was so frightened that the soles of her feet shone. A bunch of worries emerged in his mind. What he was most afraid of would happen early. He was most afraid that Tang Xingai would take away his son if he knew the truth. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. After the flash marriage, the character collapsed. Author, Daobi in the World. Chapter 1433. Chapter 1433 discovered by Mr. Tang 2. Teacher Qian, Xingai saw Xiao Wang just now. Did he find anything? Did he guess that Xiao Wang is his son? Yang Yanliu has been worried about this matter. When he thinks that their father and son have met, they may meet at any time. When Tang Xingai discovered that Xiao Wang was his son, she was so frightened that the soles of her feet shone. A bunch of worries emerged in his mind. What he was most afraid of would happen early. He was most afraid that Tang Xingai would take away his son if he knew the truth. Qian Yuman shook his head quickly and said with a smile. Don't worry. Xingai didn't realize that Xiao Wang was his son at all. Do you think anyone is as smart as Mr. Tang? Qian Yuman comforted Yang Yanliu with a smile. Yang Yanliu, who had just breathed a sigh of relief, suddenly realized something and looked at Qian Yuman in shock. What you just said, did you mean that Xingai's eldest brother found out? Qian Yuman shrugged and spread his hands. Looking at Mr. Tang's expression just now, I probably guessed Xiao Wangguang's identity. Who makes Xiao Wangguang look so similar to you two? With Mr. Tang's IQ, it's hard not to guess. What should I do? Will brother Xingai tell Xingai that little Wangguang is his son? Yang Yanliu, who had just breathed a sigh of relief, became worried again, and his face turned pale, as if he had suffered a huge blow. What to do? Yang Yanliu was going crazy. Thinking that Tang Yuj might tell his brother about little Wangguang, she couldn't calm down at all. Feeling her mother's nervousness, little Wangguang raised her little hand and touched her mother's face. Mom, don't be sad. Baby, Yang Yanliu suddenly hugged his son tightly and buried his face in his body trembling slightly because of fear. Lulu, you don't have to worry so much. Mr. Tang will definitely not tell Xingai. If he had told him, he would have revealed the matter at the scene just now. Qian Yuman patted Yang Yanliu on the shoulder to comfort him. Yang Yanliu did not feel any better after hearing the consolation. He was still in a panic, and his whole person was on the verge of collapse. Lulu, you really don't have to worry. Mr. Tang is not a talkative person, and he won't say anything even if he finds out. Think about it, if Xingai knew Xiao Wangguang's identity now, he would definitely call me and question him. Where are you? Look, no one has called me yet. Really? Yang Yanliu looked at Qian Yuman blankly. Even though Qian Yuman comforted her and Tang Yuj didn't talk too much and even analyzed it with her, she was still worried. Don't be afraid. If you don't believe me, I'll call Mr. Tang and ask. Okay, Yang Yanliu nodded wildly. Qian Yuman had no choice but to call Tang Yuj. Tang Yuj, who was being escorted out by his younger brother, received a call from Qian Yuman. Qian, is something wrong? Qian Yuman turned on the speakerphone so that Yang Yanliu could hear their conversation clearly. Mr. Tang, is Xingai by your side? Tang Yuj on the other end of the phone looked at his brother who was driving in the driver's seat, and then answered. Exist. Yang Yanliu heard Tang Xingai's presence and held his hands nervously. Then I will ask you a few questions now, and you only need to answer yes and no. Okay. Tang Yuj raised his eyebrows. Have you guessed who little Wangguang's mother is? Tang Yuj curled his lips and looked at his younger brother who was concentrating on driving. His younger brother was not at all curious about the content of his phone call with Qian Yuman, and he didn't even look over. Yes. End of this chapter. After the flash marriage, the character collapsed. Author, Daobi in the World. Chapter 1434. Chapter 1434 discovered by Mr. Tang 3. Tang Yuj curled his lips and looked at his younger brother who was concentrating on driving. His younger brother was not at all curious about the content of his phone call with Qian Yuman, and he didn't even look over. Yes. Hearing Tang Yuj's waita, Yang Yanliu's nerves became even tighter, and his eyes looking at Qian Yuman became helpless. Qian Yuman reached out and patted Yang Yanliu's hand to comfort her silently, letting her relax. Mr. Tang, didn't you tell Xingai that the child was his? Yes, Tang Yuj also answered decisively. Hearing Tang Yuj's words, Yang Yanliu's tense nerves finally relaxed, and his body slumped weakly in the car. It's okay if you don't. I'm afraid you'll tell Xingai. You should have guessed the reason. Now I just ask you not to tell Xingai about the child, okay? Okay. Tang Yuj still agreed readily. Yang Yanliu, who had been tense for a long time, finally relaxed at this moment and confirmed that Tang Xingai would not know about his son for the time being. Although the loss was a bit out of control, more and more people knew that Xiao Wangguang was Tang Xingai's child, but she was about to return abroad, and it would be difficult for her to meet Tang Xingai again. She knew that if she left this country, her son would not be snatched away, provided that people like Jian Yuman had been helping her keep the secret. Mr. Tang, thank you in advance. Where are you? Tang Yuj crossed his legs and tapped his fingers on the car seat with a relaxed expression. He just asked casually to pass the time on the way to the company. When Tang Yuj asked her where she was now, the corners of Jian Yuman's mouth twitched slightly and she looked at Kenny. She has not forgotten that Mr. Tang was jealous yesterday because of Kenny. If he knew that she would meet Kenny again the next day, would he fly over and spank her? But, she doesn't dare to hide it. Now they are not far from reconciliation. If she deceives Mr. Tang again and is discovered by him, she may have no hope of getting back together with him in her life. Her only choice, and the only thing she could do, was to tell Tang Yuj honestly. Mr. Tang, I love you the most, don't worry, I won't let you down. Jian Yuman's inexplicable answer made Tang Yuj on the other end of the phone raise his eyebrows and narrow his eyes dangerously. You're not with Kenny now, are you? When Tang Yuj asked this question, his eyes gleamed. When Jian Yuman said this, she had already accurately guessed who Jian Yuman was with at the moment. In addition to Yang Yanliu and her son, there was also Ken Ni. He, as expected, nothing can be hidden from Mr. Tang. Mr. Tang is indeed the smartest man in the world, the man I love most. I guessed it after just saying these few words. I don't care who you are with. A certain proud man said this, but his tone and momentum showed that he didn't want to care and that he didn't mind. Feeling Tang Yuj's jealousy, Jian Yuman twitched her lips and explained why she had met Kenny and why she was with Kenny. After hearing Jian Yuman's explanation, the look on Tang Yuj's face became much better. In that case, I'll finish seeing them off later, leave and come to the company, and I'll take you to eat the ice cream you've always wanted to eat at noon. Really? Jian Yuman's eyes widened in surprise. She didn't expect that an honest answer would lead to an invitation to lunch from Mr. Tang. End of this chapter. After the flash marriage, the character collapsed. Author, Daobi in the World. Chapter 1435. Chapter 1435 discovered by Mr. Tang 4. Really? Jian Yuman's eyes widened in surprise. She didn't expect that an honest answer would lead to an invitation to lunch from Mr. Tang. She just didn't dare to panic to Mr. Tang anymore because of her previous lesson, and she didn't want him to lie to him again. She hoped that they would be honest in the future, without any concealment or lies. Jian Yuman was so happy that she almost jumped up and danced, but she still had to be calm and maintain a little bit of a ladylike image in front of Mr. Tang. Mr. Tang, we have agreed to have dinner together at noon. No problem. Tang Yuj was in a good mood and agreed happily. Jian Yuman hung up the phone and was in a good mood, holding the phone with silly joy. Tang Yuj called you. Kenny, who was sitting in the front seat, seemed to ask casually, but his eyes flashed with sadness. The relationship between Jian Yuman and Tang Yuj became better and better. Although Kenny was very happy on the one hand, he felt very hurt on the other hand. The better the relationship between the beloved woman and Tang Yuj is, the more likely it is that he and Jian Yuman will be together. Although I kept telling myself that as long as Jian Yuman was happy, nothing else mattered. But when he saw her happy face, her heart was bleeding, and his heart was very complicated. He couldn't help but be jealous, but he also hoped that she would be happy. Yes, Jian Yuman smiled, her eyes falling on Yang Yanliu who was holding her son. Lulu, are you really going to hide it from Xingai all your life and not tell him that he has a lovely son? Yang Yanliu frowned, lowered his head somewhat depressedly, took a deep breath, and then shook his head blankly. I don't know, the relationship between Xingai and I was very complicated before. I think he always existed in my heart, but, he hates me now, and it is impossible for me and him to be together. Yang Yanliu was also confused. She kept telling her that Tang Xingai was impossible. But as time went by, I couldn't let go of Tang Xingai in my heart. When I saw Tang Xingai again, although I cared about him, I felt more deeply in love with him. But, it was impossible for them to be together, and she couldn't change Tang Xingai's thoughts about her. Lulu, what happened to you back then? Qian Yuman hesitated and asked the question. She knew that what happened to Tang Xingai and Yang Yanliu was very one-sided, and wanted to know exactly what happened to them, but looking at the two of them, she didn't want to talk at all. Qian Yuman's culture silenced Yang Yanliu. Yang Yanliu obviously didn't want to say anything, and Qian Yuman didn't want to force her, so she just smiled and stopped asking. Driving Yang Yanliu all the way back to Ajiazhong, Qian Yuman did not ask again. After sending Yang Yanliu and her son away, Kenny drove away and his eyes fell on Qian Yuman, his eyes a little complicated. Even though Qian Yuman said they wanted to be friends and he agreed to be friends, he still couldn't let go of this relationship. If he could really let go of this relationship easily, he would really be willing to do so. Little funny boy. What are we going to do now? We haven't seen each other for a long time, so why not go watch a movie together? End of this chapter. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. After the flash marriage, the character collapsed. Author, Daobi in the World. Chapter 1436. Chapter 1436 Ji Li couple is back. 1. Little funny boy. What are we going to do now? We haven't seen each other for a long time, so why not go watch a movie together? Qian Yuman instinctively wanted to nod in agreement, because she also had a movie she wanted to watch recently, but she turned around and thought of the jealous Mr. Tang at home. Forget it, last time she just had a meal with Kenny Oba, and he got jealous. If he knew they were going to a movie, he didn't know what would happen. They have such a good relationship now. At this critical moment, it is better not to be alone with Kenny. The last time we were alone together, it made him angry. There's no need for the movie. I'm going to see Mr. Tang later and we'll make an appointment to have lunch together. In fact, there was no such thing at all, but in order to prevent Kenny from misunderstanding that she could avoid him, she still found a well-intentioned person. Lie. Okay then, let's go see a movie together again if we have a chance. Kenny replied with a smile, not showing any displeasure, only deep inside he understood how painful he was. Qian Yuman said so. Kenny didn't say anything more, drove Qian Yuman to the gate of Dihao Group, and left. After seeing off Qian Yuman, Kenny drove a short distance away and parked the car on the side of the road. He held the steering wheel with both hands and stared blankly ahead. Put your hands gently on your chest, bend down uncomfortably, and rest your head on the steering wheel. Little funny boy, I'm afraid I can't always be by your side to protect you. I need time to adjust. How can I stop loving you? At least it doesn't look like I love you on the surface. No matter how strong Kenny is, no matter how firm his decision is, facing Qian Yuman's alienation, it will bring a deep painful blow. He couldn't be by her side all the time. He needed to give himself some time again to disguise himself. Pretend that you no longer love her. It is thousands of times harder to not love someone than to fall in love with someone. Walking into the Dihao Group, Qian Yuman went to find Tang Yuj in a familiar manner. When she entered the group, she received a few strange looks. She was disgusted by these looks, and she tried her best to hide them. When did their eyes change, as if she was a bad woman who stole their boyfriend? Strangeness. Qian Yuman was full of doubts and took the elevator upstairs. The moment the elevator door closed, a group of employees pretending to be busy gathered together to chat. I didn't expect that our chairman and president could actually be monogamous. They are really powerful. Yes, yes. I have heard that rich men like to find multiple women. Why do our chairman and others, in turn, share one woman? I don't know what the charm of this Qian Yuman is, but he has fascinated Mr. Tang and the CEO. You won't be poisoned, right? It's very possible that there must be something terrible about it. If Qian Yuman heard the chat content of these employees, she would definitely grab her shoes and beat them up, and they actually kept slandering her behind her back. It's a pity that she had already gone upstairs and didn't hear the conversation between these people at all. Qian Yuman, who was looked at in silence all the way, felt very uncomfortable. She went upstairs and saw several supervisors standing there in shock when they saw Qian Yuman, looking quickly towards the direction of the chairman's office. Qian Yuman couldn't stand being looked at like a monkey all the way, so she grabbed the head of the propaganda department and asked. End of this chapter. After the flash marriage, the character collapsed. Author, Daobi in the World. Chapter 1437. Chapter 1437 Qi Lili couple is back too. Qian Yuman couldn't stand being looked at like a monkey all the way, so she grabbed the head of the propaganda department and asked. Minister Li, why were you looking at me just now, and your eyes were shocked? Is there something on my face? Qian Yuman touched her face, but found nothing. Minister Li felt out of control, shook his head quickly, and smiled very coquettishly. The chairman's wife is naturally beautiful. Even if there is something on her face, she is still very beautiful. Qian Yuman is in a good mood because of this flattery. That's weird. Since I was downstairs just now, I have noticed that many people look at me very strangely, as if they are looking at monsters, more like they are seeing something disgusting. Do you know why? Qian Yuman believed that Minister Li's shocked expression when he saw her was no different from the people downstairs. Minister Li smiled apologetically. Madam, please don't get me wrong, it's us who are making the fuss. There is someone who looks exactly like you in Mr. Tang's office, so I was very shocked when I saw you appear at the door just now. Not to mention, people in the company didn't know that Qian Yuman had a twin sister. Early this morning, Qi Lili and Murongye's plane landed and they rushed directly to the company for a meeting. Murongye, who met Tang Yuj and the others on the way, naturally walked together. Little Mickey, who had not played with his aunt for a long time, was carried into the emigrant group by Qi Lili. Murongye, who had finally become the main palace official, was still clingy. He would not let go of any moment before walking into the elevator with his arms around Qi Lili. The employees of Dihao Group did not know that Qian Yuman and Qi Lili were two people. When they saw Qi Lili, they thought it was Qian Yuman. Then he saw Murongye holding Qi Lili in his arms, talking all the time, smiling with a doting look on his face, while Tang Yuj was carefree and did not show any displeasure on his face. These four people appeared in front of the public, and they immediately thought wrongly. They thought Qian Yuman was so strong that he took down the chairman and president of Emigrant Group at the same time. So when Qian Yuman arrived later, he received many strange looks. Hearing that her sister was coming and that Minister Li had misunderstood, Qian Yuman smiled and waved and immediately went to play with her sister. Qi Lili has been abroad with Murongye during this period. The two have been dating for a while and have not broken up yet. It can be imagined that the relationship between the two is getting better and better. When Qian Yuman opened the door and went in, she saw two expressionless people, Qi Lili and Little Mickey, sitting together and chatting about issues that were very profound for Little Mickey at his age. Damn it, why is her son so cute? Sister, you are finally back, I miss you so much. Qian Yuman rushed over and hugged Qi Lili's waist. Sister, you hugged her too tightly. Qi Lili showed a hint of warmth in her eyes and gently patted Qian Yuman's shoulder. Qian Yuman hugged her happily and refused to let go. Why didn't you say hello to me in advance when you came back? I will pick you up at the airport in the morning. There's no need to go to such trouble. I'll let you pick me up. We can come back together. The reason why we didn't greet you this time is because we suddenly proposed to come back and didn't have time to tell you, Qi Lili explained. During this period, Murongye took Qi Lili to many places. Knowing that Chi Lilia loved traveling, Murongye naturally liked her and took her girlfriend everywhere to play and cultivate feelings. End of this chapter. After the flash marriage, the character collapsed. Author, Daobi in the World. Chapter 1438. Chapter 1438 Chi Lilia couple is back 3. During this period, Murongye took Chi Lilia to many places. Knowing that Chi Lilia loved traveling, Murongye naturally liked her and took her girlfriend everywhere to play and cultivate feelings. You're not going back this time. I won't go out for the time being. Long live, Chi and Yuman cheered happily. What about mom and dad? When will they come back? During this period, the relationship between Chi's father and Chian's mother has become better and better, and their relationship has quickly heated up after they have reunited. When they were together, there was no period of passionate love. Chian's mother married Chi Zhan when she was in love with someone else. This time Chian Xian'er lost her memory, which just gave them a process of reconnecting with each other. Since Chian Xian'er regained her memory, Xian Kaiping returned to his home, only Tang Wentao stayed there as a light bulb. Chi Lilia and Murongye were often away, playing around the world. There were not many people in the originally bustling house. Because of Chian Yuman, Dehao Group almost moved its entire headquarters there. Because too many things happened during this period, the relocation of their headquarters was also cancelled. As for Chian Yuman's job as a translator in Country F, he also resigned. Chian Yuman has already submitted her resume to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in China and is waiting for the interview. Chian Yuman raised her eyebrows at Chi Lilia and smiled ambiguously. Sister, how are you and Luozhuo getting along now? Have you considered getting married? Not yet, Chi Lilia said calmly. Although I don't like his sister, and although he is very verbose, he is a person who can be trusted throughout his life. Why don't you think about it? I will think about it carefully. Chi Lilia was obviously absent-minded when she said this, and her eyes always glanced aside intentionally or unintentionally. When Chian Yuman opened her mouth to ask her sister what she really thought, Murongye came in and ran in very enthusiastically. Master Lei, I miss you so much. I really miss you so much that one day is like 3 autumns after not seeing you. I really want you to come to the meeting together, but if you don't come, I may not take the meeting seriously. Hey. So annoying. Murongye's ability to make noises is still very strong, but under Chi Lilia's discipline during this period, he has become a little more restrained. Murongye walked up to Chi Lilia and hugged Chi Lilia's shoulders affectionately. For a tall man of 1.9 meters, he actually started acting coquettishly towards Chi Lilia, which made Chian Yuman feel chills all over. Ha ha ha. It's so weird that my sister and her future brother-in-law get along so strangely, it gave her goosebumps all over her body. It wasn't the kind of show of affection. I want you to take care of it, Murongye protested dissatisfied, and then pestered Chi Lilia to talk. It's been a long time since I've been back to China. Let's go out to eat at noon. What do you want to eat? I still have a lot of things I want to eat. I may need Leia and his family to accompany me to eat. I can eat all this until next year. Think about what I can eat with you. It's so fun to have dinner with Mr. Lei. I want to accompany my sister at noon. Chi Lilia rejected Murongye ruthlessly. Subsequently, Chian Yuman received a look of sadness and hatred from Murongye. Oh my god. She wanted to hit someone. Chian Yuman was thinking this in her heart, and her body was still a little ready to move. Murongye. Are you looking for death? A roar came from outside. Tang Yuj walked in with a dark face. When he saw the giant baby entangled Chi Lilia and acted coquettishly, his face became even darker. Murongye, where is your moral integrity? Are you more exaggerated than me when you come to find a woman in the middle of a meeting? Go back to the meeting quickly. End of this chapter. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. After the flash marriage, the character collapsed. Author, Dalby in the World. Chapter 1439. Chapter 1439. Chi Lili I couple is back for Murong yet. Are you looking for death? A roar came from outside. Tang Yuj walked in with a dark face. When he saw the giant baby entangled Chi Lili and acted coquettishly, his face became even darker. Murong yet, where is your moral integrity? Are you more exaggerated than me when you come to find a woman in the middle of a meeting? Go back to the meeting quickly. Tang Yuj's face was as dark as the bottom of a pot. He came over and grabbed Murong Ye's collar and dragged him to the conference room. He wanted to finish the meeting early and have dinner with Jian'er, but he couldn't let this noisy man delay him. Looking at Murong Ye being taken away by Tang Yuj, Jian Yuman burst into laughter holding her belly in her hands. Sister, is this brother-in-law usually like this? I knew this man was noisy before, but I didn't expect him to be disgusting. He dared to say the second best, and absolutely no one dared to say the first. There's nothing I can do. Chi Lil also smiled helplessly and shook her head. Yeah, I see you're enjoying it too. Jian Yuman looked at Chi Lili with a look of death on the monster's face. Chi Lili smiled bitterly and shook her head. Sister, it's unfair. I'm annoyed too. No, I see you are enjoying yourself a lot, and your personality is much more cheerful than before. Jian Yuman is still happy to see the result, at least Chi Lili won't look cold. When she was with Tang Feishan, both of them were very quiet. When she was with them, she tried hard to find topics to talk about, and often talked to death. Now that Chi Lili and Murong Ye are together, she doesn't need to speak, and Murong Ye takes over the chat content of the three of them. Don't wait for them at noon. Let's go out for dinner. Jian Yuman happily abducted his sister. If Murong Ye were here, he would definitely go berserk and angry Jian Yuman for abducting his girlfriend. Mommy, go ahead, I'll play here by myself, little Mickey said very thoughtfully. If you really let him go, you might as well read more books. He was not interested in the conversation between mommy and aunt anyway. Jian Yuman happily abandoned her son and went out to eat with Chi Lil. The two chatted and talked. How are your parents' relationship lately? What Jian Yuman is most concerned about right now is her parents' relationship. Very good, I feel like I have to remarry at any time. This is good, Jian Yuman said happily. She has been regarded as her parents' matchmaker recently. It would be great for them to get married again. It's just that Tang Wentao is a little annoyed when Chi Lili talked about Tang's father. There was unconcealable boredom in her tone. It's strange that Chi Lili doesn't hate Tang Wentao. Most of the grievances she suffered in the Tang family came from Tang Wentao's making things difficult for her. Even though she was with Murong Ye now, the feeling she had at that time was still deeply etched in her heart. No way. My father-in-law is still clinging to them. He obviously has a wife, but he still wants to seduce our mother and make our mother a mistress. Jian Yuman was also speechless to this father-in-law. Thinking that his father-in-law was always there, doesn't it mean that Tang Feishan is also there? Lili, is Feishan still bothering you recently? Jian Yuman thought of Tang Feishan. Before she left, he was with his father and was unwilling to leave as a guest in their house. When mentioning Tang Feishan, Chi Lili stopped and saw a familiar figure not far away. Her tone was a little helpless. Just look at the person at 9 o'clock and you will know. Jian Yuman quickly looked over there and saw Tang Feishan standing there. End of this chapter. After the flash marriage, the character collapsed. Author, Dalby in the World. Chapter 1440. Chapter 1440, Sinking Fiancé 1. Jian Yuman quickly looked over there and saw Tang Feishan standing over there. He was staring at the side at first, but when he found that they were looking at him, he immediately looked away. The footsteps stopped in place for a few seconds, and finally chose to turn around and leave, disappearing in front of them not long after. Hey? Faishan can't come over. The moment Jian Yuman saw Tang Faishan, she thought Tang Faishan would come over. Unexpectedly, after being discovered, he disappeared silently, as if he had never been here before. Chi Lili sighed softly and looked at the blue sky and white clouds. What's going on? Jian Yuman looked at Chi Lil curiously. Faishan stopped bothering me not long ago, but I always find him and he appears next to me. How do you say this? Chi Lili's cold face was pricked with pinpricks, and her red lips were slightly pursed. He didn't disturb my life during this period. Just like just now, he was watching me silently not far away. If I found him, he would turn around and leave without hesitation. Sometimes when we met face to face, he would pretend we met by chance. In fact, I don't know what his purpose was. He didn't pester me, but if he appeared in my life, it still caused me some trouble. I couldn't just rush to question him. Don't. Appearing around me again, after all, he is not disturbing me directly, but just watching me silently from a distance. Chi Lili said this calmly, but her eyes kept staring at the blue sky. Even Jian Yuman couldn't tell what her sister was really thinking at this moment. Do you need me to ask Faishan for you? No need. Chi Lil shook her head gently. He won't last long. How long can you keep watching her silently from a distance? As time goes by, he will naturally disappear in front of her and become a person in her memories. Jian Yuman reached out and patted her sister's shoulder gently and said with a smile. All right? Don't think too much. Have a good time with Murong. Over at Faishan, if you are really troubled, I will try to find out what's going on and help you talk to him. Okay. Chi Lili couldn't help but look in the direction where Tang Faishan disappeared. Jian Yuman and Chi Lili walked for a while, and suddenly a young girl rushed out. When the girl saw Chi Lili, she slapped her hand away. The attack was so fast that Jian Yuman was stunned. Chi Lili, who was not good at martial arts, turned her body slightly and dodged. He held the young girl vigorously with his backhand, and his beautiful eyes shot out a terrifying look, which made the young girl shrink her neck in fright. You, what do you want to do? Do you want to hit someone? The young girl was obviously the one who struck first, but after Chi Lil counterattacked, the villain complained first. What's wrong with beating you? Chi Lili said indifferently, taking advantage of her height to look down at the young girl who was only 1.56 meters tall. The girl is petite and sweet looking, and she is in her early 20s at most. The important thing is that Chi Lil and the others don't know this girl at all. This person's appearance was too sudden, too incredible and inexplicable. You, why are you so mean? The young girl pouted and was about to cry. In the eyes of passers-by, it was Jian Yuman, the twins, bullying a girl. Stop talking nonsense. Who are you? Why do you want to hit me? End of this chapter.